Feeling alone in a crowd sums up.
I used the establishing shot of the club setting from Neighbours. I developed it by changing the colour of the lights because I felt like the green had a more positive atmosphere in which clubs seemed to give off. Also, I chose to add the scene because I felt it would reach to a younger demographic. Using hate as a title card represents my plot because the main character, the protagonist, has a lot of hatred in her because of the way other people have treated her. I used the scene from Twilight because it had a good use of intertextual conventions. I developed it by choosing to film it in a point of view close-up shot of a real social media debate because it dealt with popular issues and themes in which young adults deal with.
I wrote in this diary. Everything I wrote started to happen. I just didn't know what to do.
I used the scene from The Vampire Diaries because of the camera movement and how it characterized what the character was doing and how it represented the plot. I developed it by having an over-the-shoulder extreme close-up shot on the diary because I felt it would represent my plot more clear to my target audience.
I wrote I wanted a boyfriend.
Again, an over-the-shoulder shot, the voiceover syncs with the speed of writing, which is effective to the extent that the audience knows what the character is thinking, and it also helps to transition to the next scene.
She's talking about you, idiot.
I used a reverse angle shot scene from the cut because it showed confrontation between two characters. I developed it by filming the reactions of the characters to be longer so the audience can observe the characteristics of each character. The girls laughing gives a gossiping element to the plot. This makes the audience think more about what the main character has written. It has the same effect as a cliffhanger, which will make the audience want to watch the soap to find out, as it pleasures them.
My one and only friend.
Your big announcement.
Again, I used confrontation scene from Neighbours. I developed it by having the characters in a two-shot instead of a group because I felt in my plot that this scene would be more intimate.
Big mistake.
I used a scene from Skins. I developed it by changing the setting a little bit. I chose to film this on the floor instead of a bed because I felt thinking on the floor was what young adults do more now, and it would reach out to my audience as they can relate to them. This title card represents to the audience when the soap is on and on what channel, whilst the main character is telling the audience in sync with the title card.
Don't miss it.
The main character tells the audience not to miss a soap, which is clearly represented them on the title card. Similarities. I chose this as it had a similar genre to my soap opera. I developed it by breaking apart the characters and giving them stereotypical group names. I use this poster because of the placement of the channel brand institution. It is placed on the far right by itself with no distractions around it. It is very clear what channel it's on. I developed it by changing the brand institution to ITV2, which is what my soap opera is on. I chose to look at this poster because my main character was a misfit. I developed my poster giving each of the character stereotypes a different colour to give them an identity. I developed the characterization of my stars by giving them a specific colour that represents their identity so my audience will be more attracted to them. For example, the Mean Girls are green. I use this poster because of the binary. The brand name is Pretty Little Liars and there are 3 girls on the poster suggesting they are Pretty Little Liars. I developed it by making my background a diary. I used the EastEnders website for how it laid out the button bar at the top. I developed it by changing the button features. For example, I only had 2 pages at the top so it doesn't seem cluttered. I used the Coronation Street website for how it used the images at the top of the page. It linked to the spoilers page. I developed it by asking the audience an enigma instead of just a statement. I used the Emmerdale website for its features. I chose to add episodes to my features because I felt it was what the audience wants to read. I developed it by adding more spoilers in the summary episodes to make it more interesting for my audience.